lesson. So the first thing we want to do is to open our movie in QuickTime. So as you can see, or maybe not because my desktop is an absolute mess. Over here is the movie I'd like to use. So I'm going to double click on that and it's going to open now in QuickTime. And there's my son at the door. I'm going to come up and as you can see, I'm going to try and look for a repetitive motion here that is exactly what I'm looking for. And what I'm looking for is a start and a finish point that are more or less the same. And I only need literally 1 or 2 seconds. So if my hand starts here on the door, right there, okay, I can look and see, okay, there we go. I'm going to go up now. I'm going to go to Edit. And I'm going to go down to where it says Trim. Or you can do the shortcut, which is Command T. So Command T. This red line right here marks exactly where I was. So I'm going to grab the left edge of this yellow box. Or not. I missed. Now I just missed my spot. I'm going to grab this left edge and come all the way over to here where I was knocking. And I'm going to find that spot. There we go. And now I'm going to grab the right edge of the box and I'm going to grab it and come all the way back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly go to the right and I'm going to go 1 rotation there and back. That's it. And if I press play, it'll show it to me just like that. And if I go up to view and I go down to loop and I press play, it'll show me what it'll look like over and over again. Now do you see how that looks kind of glitchy? Because I'm shaking back and forth. That's going to make the Cinemagraph look glitchy too. So I'm going to stop this and I'm going to find a different spot. Because that right there tells me it's not going to look good. Because my body is moving too much. My body needs to be more still. So I'm going to start right there this time. And so I'm going to go to where right there, and I'm going to go to where I knock. I'm going to come back to right there. Alright, I'm going to play it this time. Glitchy. Now as you can see, this is actually the most difficult part of doing a Cinemagraph because this is crucial to making sure it looks like it's a real video that is just the motion is going on forever and ever. All right, let's try this one. There's that slight pause in it. I'm going to bring this back 1 rotation to right there. Let's see what this looks like. That's a little glitchy. All right, we'll see what we can do. All right. I'm going to click Trim here. There we go. And so now if I press play here, there's my clip. All right, so there we go. So now if I come up here and I click on the red X, it's going to ask me, do I want to save this? I will call this knocking clip. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. There we go. It's saved. It just popped up right here. Now I'm going to grab this and I'm going to drag this into Photoshop. Ta-da. And there we are. Now, as you can see in Photoshop, we have our layers over here. And this actually, right down here, is our animation timeline. So if you don't have yours on your screen when you open it, which you probably won't, very simple. Go up to Window, go down to where it says Animation right here, and click on it. That will bring up your animation bar. So I just took it away, Window, down to Animation, and now I have my animation timeline. So if I were to press play down here on my animation timeline, you'll see that it'll start a little slow, and then once it loads, it'll get a little quicker. So there's my knocking, a little slow-mo-ish. And now here's what I want to do. we are going to create a second layer here. So make sure this is highlighted blue, and if I do Command J, it's going to create a second layer. Now the second layer that's on top, we want to turn into a picture, and we need to rasterize that. And basically what we're doing is we're turning it into pixels. We're making it a picture. So very simple. If you hold down Control and click on your mouse, it'll bring up all of these options, and we're going to go down to here where it says rasterize layer, and I'm going to click on that, and now you'll see how the little film strip in the bottom corner is now gone. We just turned that into a picture. So now if I press play down here, watch what happens. You see the timeline moving right here. There you go. You see the bar, but nothing's happening in the picture. The reason is because we now have a picture on top of our video covering it up, so you don't see the video underneath. If I were to take the eyeball away here and press play, then and make that layer invisible, well, now we see the knocking again. But if I go up and I make this layer visible and I press play, there's nothing. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We now need to cut a hole inside of this picture so we can see the video playing behind it. Excuse me. So the way we do that is by creating a layer mask. So right down here, this button, 1, 2, 3 from the left with a little rectangle with a circle in it, that is adding a layer mask. Make sure the top copy is blue, and we'll click on this. And so now this white area is our layer mask. And if we make sure that this top one over here is black, if it happens to look like this, the white is the top square, just click on these little arrows and it will flip them. It'll switch the foreground and the background color. So this is black, and we're going to go up to our paintbrush. So make sure your paintbrush is on the brush tool. And if it isn't, hold to the bottom left corner and all these will pop up, and you just go to the top one. And now this little circle is our brush tool. We can make this bigger by using the bracket that's 2 spaces to the right of P, or make it smaller using the bracket right next to P. So I'm going to make it big to start with, and I'm going to take off this lower eyeball. I'm going to make the lower level not visible. So now I can see where I am cutting a hole into this picture. Now I don't like this brush. I'm going to come over here. Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to come over here and now I'm going to start cutting a hole, and I'm going to pretty much be going where my movement of my arm is. So I'm going to come right here to my arm, and I'm going to come right down to about here, grab my arm down here. I'm going to make sure I cover up this hole, and I can make this bigger now again so I can do this a little quicker. I'm going to get rid of all of this. So I'm cutting a hole right in here where my hand is going to knock and it's going to go back. And now if I click on this, we'll see my arm show up again. Now if I watch play, now watch what happens. There we go. You see how we're looking through that picture and you're seeing the arm movement, and that's it. Now do you see how my shadow is frozen over here? If I wanted the shadow of my hand pounding and this shadow moving, watch what I do. Press stop here. I take this off and I come over here and I erase everything over here too. So now we're going to see the shadow moving as well in the reflection. Sorry, not the shadow. The reflection. So I'm going to erase all this. And so again, I'm just cutting a hole in this top picture. So it's going to show what video is playing underneath. So now if I press play, watch what happens. Now you see that the reflection of my hand knocking, but you don't see anything else going. So I actually kind of like the reflection not going. If my head would have been moving around a little bit, that would have been different. So I'm going to undo that part and just put this back on and press play. There we go. All right, so now we're close. We're close. And now I've bored you with a 10-minute video. But hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Okay. So here's what we're going to do now. A couple more steps to finish this off because we're not done. We need to turn these layers, especially the ones in the video, into pictures. Remember, a GIF is like a picture book that you're just flipping through. Flip, 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 flip. So we need to do that. Now here's how we're going to do that. If we come down to our animation timeline, we go to the very top corner and we click on that right there. It's going to bring up this little menu, and if we go down to where it says flatten frames into layers, we're going to click on that and watch what happens over here. There we go. Look at all those frames now. These are all of those individual frames that make up that video. Now here's what we're going to do. There's two at the very bottom that don't have an eyeball on them. They're not visible. We need to throw these two in the trash can. There's a little mini trash can right here at the bottom right. So I'm going to grab this, put it in the trash, and I'm going to grab this other one and put it in the trash. There we go. All right, we don't want those. If we keep those in there, they will create a couple of frames in the playback video that don't quite look right. So here's the next step. Now we're going to go down to this bottom right corner, and we're going to change the view of the timeline. So if I click on that, now it's going to show us the individual frames, but right now we only have one, so we now need to get these all over here. So the way we do that is we go back to that top right corner and we click on that. Now we say make frames from layers. So we're going to turn these frames, or we're going to turn these layers over here into frames back over here. So if I click on this, there they are. Now we notice at the bottom left corner that this one is 0.6 seconds. That's the delay between when one frame plays and the next. We want them all to be 0, so this is very fluid. So I'm going to click on this bottom right arrow, and I'm going to go up to no delay. So now these all say 0 seconds. Perfect. And now if I play it, it's going to go through, and it's going to stop. That's because this says once. If I click on this once right here, and I make it say forever, and I press play, it's going to play forever. Now, who knocks that slow? I have no idea, but obviously I'm the slowest knocker in the world. So I will stop this now because we are now extremely close. Now we have 2 more steps. This video is actually really, really large. It was recorded in HD. So if we look right over here, this is only 33% of the real size of this. So we actually need to shrink this so it's manageable. So if we go up to edit, that would not make any sense because it's not there. We actually need to go to image, sorry. We go to image size, and we're going to turn this top one into 600 because this is a good size for the web, for blogs. And so it's automatically going to change everything else. It's going to make it proportionate. So change the top one to 600 and say OK. Simple. Now it's going to shrink. There we go. All right. And remember, Command 0 will make it fit the screen. So if you want to make it fit the screen, you can do that. Command 1 will make it its actual size. So there's the actual size. Now we are going to, we're ready. So if we go to File and we say Save for Web and Devices. So File and then go down to Save for Web and Devices. You're going to click here and you're going to look at all this. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, look at all that stuff. I do not know what to do. Well, here's the great thing. All you have to do is press save or return. You don't have to do anything. And now you'll see it's already saved as a GIF file. So you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it knockingclip.gif. I'm going to save it to my desktop. I say save. There we go. And now if I go over here, I'm going to minimize this. On my desktop, I should have something called knocking clip GIF. There it is. Oh, no, that's not it. I have so much stuff on here. Is this it? No, that's not it. Let's see if I can find this. Oh my gosh. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Knock, clip, GIF, knock, clip. There it is. Ta-da, I found it. There it is. Now watch, if I click on it, here's what's going to happen. it's going to show me the little flip book. There it is.